Well, welcome back to TED Talks Guitars and Life. So, it has been decided that I'm going to throw this Telecaster together. This is the Fesley Deluxe Edition Telecaster that I have purchased for my grandson who wanted a burnt orange guitar. So I will be doing a painting job later in the days ahead. However, I was sitting with my bride having some lunch and we were hanging out, and I got to thinking about a couple of things. I got to thinking that maybe it would be helpful for those of you who have never done any kind of guitar work. Maybe it would be helpful for me to put out a video how I approach doing this. The other thing I got to thinking is, well, maybe what I need to do is practice a little bit of what I preach. Wouldn't that be a novel idea? And actually assess some parts before I just start creating an upgrade list. And put this thing together, see how it sounds, test it out a little bit, get it set up where it plays well, and then after I know everything's going to work and the setup is good, disassemble and then attack the body. Shout out to 2Bike Mike for his great suggestion in that regard. I was actually thinking it, and then he commented and basically said the same thing. So I thought, not about y'all maybe needing somebody or wanting somebody to walk you through it, but just me putting it together and then disassembling and tackling the body. So I saw that as confirmation of a path. Confirmation and affirmation of paths are always a good thing. If you're new to the channel, like this kind of content, go ahead and like the video and feel free to subscribe. Hang out with us on the channel a little bit more often. Couple disclaimers. One, this is TED Talks, Guitars, and Life. The key word in the title is talks, although tonight we're going to do quite a bit of work together. And so I typically will tell a story or two and offer antidotes, and maybe, we'll see how the conversation goes. I don't have a script. I don't edit anything. It's just me being me doing my thing. Serious disclaimer. Nothing that I'm going to do in this video is prescriptive to what you must do. Everyone is going to create their own rhythm. I was talking to Torsten over at Tease Guitars tonight, and we were talking about just, the kind of tools that he uses, the kind of tools I use, how we approach guitars, that kind of thing. And it really is true. I say it on the channel a lot. Hey, you do you. So we all find a rhythm in life. So I do have the instruction book that came with the guitar handy, and I thought that it would be helpful. It's not that I'm above using it. I don't mean that at all. What I mean to say is I've done this a time or two. I've never put a kit together, but I work on Telecasters all the time. So I have an approach, and I'm going to follow my approach, but particularly when it comes to the wiring, I'm going to want to show you in the book kind of what it instructs. That's probably the most complicated thing here. So there's several things that the book says that you will need. A Phillips screwdriver, a rubber mallet. I don't own a rubber mallet, so we'll see what's up when we need a rubber mallet, because I don't have one. Some pliers, paint and accessories, needle files, sandpaper, you know, those kinds of things. So for putting it together, mostly I think a screwdriver is going to get us a good bit down the road. So what I would typically do, oh, I left out a key part that you're going to need. You are going to need patience. Lots and lots of patience. Patience with me, because I talk quite a bit, and patience with yourself. So something that I would recommend is that you get some kind of, I usually use this wooden box for screws, but I initially thought I would do this over on the table that I used when I did the unboxing. But it has that really nice kind of blanket that I got in Mexico City on it, which is beautiful, but sometimes I can set a screw down and misplace it. So one, I'm just trying to kind of find the screws that I know go together. If you don't know what goes together, I'm sure perhaps there's a page in the book that tells you, but basically best practice would just be put the screws together that seem to be the same length to you. If you have a ruler handy, and as you work on guitars, having access to a ruler is a wonderful thing. And of course, as I say that, I cannot put my fingers on my ruler, but I don't believe, oh yes I can, it is right here. Okay, so anyway, when in doubt, you can just simply measure the screws and life will follow suit. Okay, now I may not put the strap buttons on here because I'm just going to have to take them off for the painting. Okay, but I am going to assemble most of the guitar, and we will see how this deal goes. The shortest or the thinnest of screws is for these string trees, which I really don't like, but in the interest of setting this up as is, we will give that a go. All right, so what I would normally do, I would start with the neck. You know, in life, I tell my students this, I've told my children this. It's applicable in so many areas of life. In life, and so you've got this nut and a washer. So what I do is I put the washer on the nut and I sit them like this so that they are together. And when I need them, they will be handier. And, you know, in life and in many settings in life, there's two schools of thought. One school of thought is you start with what is the easiest. And that will give you confidence to do what may not be as easy. The other school of thought is to tackle the really outlandishly hard thing, or the intimidating thing, the thing that perhaps scares you the most. Now I am going to do the neck first because that is my rhythm. And again, I mentioned in the unboxing and in the closer look vid after the unboxing that we do have a couple of high frets. So I know that about this guitar. I'm not going to do the fret leveling right now because what I want to see is I want to put the guitar together, I want to put the strings on it, I want to set it up, and then I want to see how much fret buzz that I have, because some of the high frets were not super high. And anyway, it's all a matter of approach But that's going to be my approach tonight. May not be my approach tomorrow. So this is the tuner. It goes in the only place that it could, and it aligns with that hole right there. And that hole is for, and I should demonstrate properly. How's my lighting? Is it okay? What if I did this? Maybe that's better. Sorry about that, man. I can see fine, but sometimes I forget I'm recording. Well, then that would mean he was talking to himself. Well, I might talk to myself occasionally. Have some great conversations. You can take that blue plastic licking wrap off if you like. That's fine. I'm not going to do that for the purposes of what we are doing. This is just kind of a quick assembly, and we'll see kind of how far we get and what we encounter. I don't think it'll be excruciatingly long, but you know what? If you want to take a break anytime, feel free. And yeah, you can do that. So you will need some kind of Phillips screwdriver, and so I'm just looking for the Phillips screwdriver that I'm going to use. And you know, just try to match the and don't do what I just did, which is slide off the screw. Well, you know what? It's actually going to happen. So you might as well be okay with that. Little mishaps and whatnot. But like I said, you know, I don't, folks, I don't edit my videos. Unless my grandbaby comes in screaming bloody murder about some uncontrollable life event, I am going to just keep recording so that you see all the mistakes that I make. You know, there's no need for me to pretend like I don't make mistakes, because that would be a crazy idea, right? So you can use any kind of screwdriver that you like, and you don't have to have one of these fancy little ratchet things. I just kind of prefer them. They got like this little armor all set. You do you, man. Use whatever screwdrivers that you have. Just know that for this particular task, I think in the book, you know, when it says you'll need a Phillips head screwdriver, I think they should have said you'll need a couple different sizes of screwdrivers. So the main thing, and I've done this a time or two, where I've stripped the head of a screw because I used the wrong size head for the screwdriver. Now, some people would say when you're working on a guitar, you should never use this kind of ratchety screwdriver or a drill. I'm going to probably use both because that's the way I am. But again, slow and steady wins the race. Being in a hurry is bad. Clearly, I think you probably noticed that I slipped off this first screw, and doesn't look like I damaged anything, but it's sure possible. So there's 2 points of connectivity in terms of contact for the tuners to the headstock. The first is what we're doing now. The second will be the ferrules, which are basically the washer and the nut, the cylinder that I've shown you. And I'll show you all that too. And hey, maybe you're watching and you know how to do all this and you think, man, this is boring. Hey man, rock on with your bad selves, and I'll catch you in another vid, man. But I just wanted to make, and I say it all the time, people who are on the channel with me a lot, they've heard me say it. I talk about people like Two Bike Mike and J-Man. I usually give them a shout out in the description with their channel names on them. Oh, that screw is just, oh no, man. Look at that. That screw is no good, man. Oh, dudes. Yeah, well, let me see if I can get this out. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you can see what I'm dealing with here. Look at that screw. It's like... So, like I said, in the spirit of you'll see everything, I should have looked at that screw before I put it in. But I didn't. I mean, the top of it, it's just, oh my goodness. Well, let me see if I go up a size, if that gets me anywhere or makes it worse. I did give you this disclaimer, right? Don't do anything I do. Nothing I do is prescriptive for you. It's just this is just one man's journey, man. That's all this channel is. But you know, those of you who hang out on the channel, I talk about Two Bike Mike and J-Man a lot, and I've watched a lot of their videos, and I've watched a lot of other people's videos. Sean over at Scar My Guitar, Dylan Talks Tone, and I don't have a list to give everybody the credit that they should have. I don't think you're going to be able to see that wonkiness of that screw, but that, my friends, is a problem. Now, it's not as much of a problem in my case because I have an abundance of screws, but it's like basically the head of it is just flat, and the Phillips portion is like, it's like half Phillips, half nothing. So that ain't cool. It certainly wouldn't be cool for those of you who don't have what I have, which is a box or two of parts and screws and all this stuff. So now, can I find them in a relatively quick fashion while the world watches? I don't know if that's a possibility or not, but it's too long. But anyway, so I just trying to find a screw that's going to work here. I'm trying to be somewhat uniform, but all of these are much longer and really longer. So this is how guitar work goes. And you know, if you found something like this on Amazon and you ordered it and you know you're going to put it together, you might want to give yourself a little bit of time to factor in, what if I get it and something goes awry? So, you know, you don't want it showing up the day before you're going to give it to somebody. Give yourself some time. Fortunately, we got screws, man. So, and so this is, you know, the quality of these tuners is, well, it's not great. Okay. Now again, if it's a starter guitar, then you know it's a starter guitar. So they're going to start with it, and maybe they'll learn how to upgrade it if they ever want to do that, or maybe not. You know, I don't know, but I will, based on what I just saw with the condition of that tuner, and it may hold tune. That's the other thing too. I'm going to want to check out. So I've got a mix match screw, but you know what? I got 6 tuners. So that's good. And then these, okay, you're just going to drop those in. Kind of the only place they can go. And you will need, more than likely, that's a 10 millimeter nut. We will verify that in a moment. Pardon me while I put this screw somewhere where I never use it again. Okay. So there's a couple different approaches here. They mentioned pliers. This is probably where the pliers would come in. You could use anything like needle nose pliers. You don't need tools really for this, but if you had some kind of pliers would be good. This is a Dunlap, you know, universal wrench. It tightens or loosens depending on what you're doing. I'm not selling any products, guys. Nothing I do is prescriptive. It's just all descriptive. I had this laying around the shop, and yeah, so see that something like this would work. Not sure where that came from, but what I use, just default 10 millimeter socket, because it just makes quick work out of it. And I have scratched a whole lot of headstocks in my decades of doing this kind of stuff. Well, I haven't been working on guitars for decades, but I've been playing guitar for decades, and occasionally I have swapped tuners and used needle nose pliers to do a lot of this kind of work, and just don't always have great results. Now I really am worried about this one. Okay, well, it's gonna bite. Now you don't want to over tighten. Okay, you're not battling down the hatches. It's not the Night of the Living Dead or anything. You know, the zombies aren't coming. Just I don't even know what that reference is. I don't think I've ever seen Night of the Living Dead. But anyway, we won't talk about movies or anything descriptive, because there are regs and rules about what a channel can say and not say, and there are copyright infringements and all kinds of things. So all I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and put the tuners where they are all horizontal, the holes, because in this style tuner I'm going to start with the string going in horizontally. And since I know that, I might as well do it now. And that way I don't have to think about it later. Okay. Now, if I were moving right into, I was just going to put this together and it was going to be what it was going to be, right? It's going to be this color. It's going to be this whatever it ends up being, okay? Then I would clean the fretboard. I don't have any sharp frets, so that's probably the best thing about this guitar so far. What I really like about it, one, the headstock. I dig that. I'm just a traditional Tele headstock guy. Okay. Two, digging that there are no sharp fret edges. Man, that for somebody that's brand new to guitar playing, man, that would really set them back. Condition the neck, so you can listen to tubers, everything from linseed oil to all kind of different oils. There are companies like Music Nomad that make something like F1 oil. You could just you could find whatever kind of conditioning method that works for you. As I say in all my videos, you do you. So I'd want to clean this and then I'd want to condition it. Again, I'm not going to do that because the purpose of me putting this together isn't to be done with it, but just to spec out, one, how the parts sound, and two, getting the neck straight in the body and all those kinds of things. Okay. So the neck, for our purposes, we're going to call this done. Now what I will do and look, we're all in different places in our journey, right? So for those of you who are brand new to this, you just want to put it together and give it to somebody as a gift or whatever. Or you're a parent and you want to get one of these and do a project build with your child or grandson or friend or whoever you want to do this with. That'd be a great way to spend time with somebody. Just, get a kit and do it together. It's kind of like building a model airplane or something, but cooler. I had plenty of model airplanes when I was a kid. Not as many as some, but I did have some. Anyway, so for my purposes, we're done here. Depending on where you are in your journey, if you're just doing a project build with your kiddo and so they're going to have a guitar to jam with and all that, you're probably good. But what I'm going to do when the time comes is I'm going to make sure that this nut is good. I may have to file that a little bit, and we'll just see. Okay, that's a later thing, I think, than where we are right now.